If you can't attend BlizzCon this year, consider buying a virtual ticket to keep up with all the action. A portion of all ticket sales goes towards helping us be able to make more great videos, and you get some pretty cool in-game goodies as well. To help support our channel, check out our affiliate link in the description below.
The Grand Finals are finished, and the Overwatch League Season 2 Kings have been crowned. The San Francisco Shock have proved yet again that they are the most dominant team in the world. Sticking to their game plan, the Shock's mechanical skill and unwavering confidence proved too much for the Vancouver Titans. With an impressive 4-0 scoreline, we're going to look at how San Francisco shocked everyone in this episode of Behind the Action. Eichenwalde was only the second map in the series, but it was already clear to where the series was headed after difficulties swept over the Titans. Let's take a look at a few key plays from the second game of the series. San Francisco likes to play Bastion compositions with their Rascal and Architect duo. An important part of incorporating Bastion into their team comp is to keep him on the back line in an elevated position. By having Bastion far from the fight and off the ground, it can be difficult for flankers to reach him. Here is an example of the Titans' inability to play around Bastion, despite having specifically chosen Mei as a counterpick. Before the Titans engage, the Shock position Bastion on the back balcony, defended by Sigma and Baptiste. The fight begins with Titsi throwing down Bongo, expecting to hard engage while Mei uses her wall to interfere with Bastion on the high ground. However, Haxel's ice wall placement only slightly blocks Bastion's line of sight. With Haxel out in the open, Violet lands a crazy sleep dart on him.
That have to be answered by the Titans, and that's a sleep dart connection from Violet.
Both teams have a chance to win this fight, so Moth uses Amplification Matrix to help Architect break the Mei wall and kill the Titans before they can get close. Slime rushes out to drop the beat on Haxel in order to keep him alive just long enough to use Blizzard. Rascal sees Lucio and Mei are pushed up too far and walls them off from the rest of the team. Violet then nano boosts Bastion, allowing him to melt 3 members of the Titans, even through the sound barrier. With the Blizzard starting to take effect, Xiaomin Su moves to flank Architect, receiving a Hail Mary nano boost from Twilight, which allows him to kill both Architect and Moth, but it's already too late. The fight ends with Violet landing one more sleep dart on Xiaomin Su, finishing off the full team wipe. The major error that the Titans make in this fight is not knowing when to back off. As soon as Moth used his Amp Matrix to help Architect destroy Mei's wall, they should have realized that they were no longer in a position to push. Instead, they continue on, burning 2 more ultimates in a failed attempt to stay in the fight. And finally, with the team having invested so much, Twilight is pressured into using his nano boost despite being one of only 2 members still alive. Moving on to the next fight, the Shock enter with 3 ultimates at the ready, and 1 more only 10% away, while the Titans have none. You can see how San Francisco prioritizes playing around Architect on the high ground at the start of most team fights. Initiating this fight, Smurf uses his supercharger, netting a kill and forcing Vancouver to take cover, and this opens up an opportunity. With Bastion's presence and sightlines enough to scare the enemies into a close quarters space, the Shock are able to use Blizzard to force a win-win situation. Either the Titans stay in their corner and get destroyed by the Blizzard, or they attempt to escape straight into Bastion's line of fire. San Francisco uses the same tactic again moments later with Sigma's Gravitic Flux, forcing the game into an overtime situation where the Titans have no way to contest the point while simultaneously dealing with Bastion. This game is a masterclass in abusing positioning and sightlines for Bastion. Vancouver was not prepared for the unique strategy, likely going into this series with the expectation of fighting Reaper-centric team comps, and they seemed unable to keep up with the pace that San Francisco had set for them.
4-0-3.
Now it is time to award your T-Mobile MVP, your most valuable player, presented by T-Mobile, and it is Choi Hyobin!
Now, let's talk about Choi Hyobin's impact on the game. He earned the Grand Finals MVP award, and the most notable reason for this was his ability to shut down Xiaomin Su's Reaper. Every single flank attempt from Xiaomin Su was met with Choi Hyobin's shield, kinetic grasp, and accretion. stopping him dead in his tracks. Vancouver was relying heavily on these flanks to take down Bastion in order to win fights, but Choi prevented it time and time again. Here is a small play that showcases this. Choi is able to react to flanks and mitigate potential damage. Here, Xiaominsu believes that Choi is distracted by Jianu and decides to engage Architect. Unfortunately for him, Choi hears Reaper shoot and immediately turns around, firing a stun and preventing Architect from eating too much damage. His awareness and attention to potential flanking routes was unparalleled in the series, and something that Choi pulled off consistently throughout the course of the game. Let's take a look at one last example that highlights both Choi Hyobin's excellent play, as well as the Titans' inability to adapt. Right off the bat, we see that San Francisco has a Pharah Bastion team comp, and Vancouver doesn't think they need to switch their DPS to deal with it. They are effectively saying one of two things. Either Twilight will be capable of dealing with Rascal's Pharah on his own, or the nano-boosted Reaper will be enough to offset the disadvantage they have by not having any form of real hit scan. All this, however, means that Rascal effectively has free reign over the sky. The play begins with a nano-boosted Reaper, which hasn't really worked all game. And once again, we see Choi Hyobin absorbing all of the pressure from Reaper on his own. It starts to look up for the Titans when Slime manages to get a great boop, but this excitement is undermined by the fact that Rascal has charged 50% of his ultimate in 15 seconds. Remember when Vancouver thought Twilight would be enough to deal with Rascal's Pharah? Keep that in mind as we watch this 5k play out.
Immortality built down, and here comes the spin, but he only gets himself one. Rascal's going to come in from the sky, and he gets himself three. Another one here would be huge, but Mott brings Architect back into the fight, and Rascal is dominant.
The Titans gambled that they would be able to take down Architect before Rascal did enough damage to force them to fall back, and that gamble did not pay off, leading to another map lost. Despite Vancouver's refusal to relent, the inevitable 4-0 was foreshadowed when, only 2 maps in, San Francisco had proved that they could beat the Titans' counterplay without even altering their strategy, and kept the Titans on the back foot throughout the entire series. It was a clinical performance from the Shock, one deserving of the Overwatch League trophy.
Unbelievable stuff here.
Do you think Vancouver did everything they could to shut down San Francisco? What was your favorite highlight of this series? Let us know in the comments below.